Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, cool your drink in 60 seconds, brick up your wall, and a way to keep your hands cool during those intense gaming sessions. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and find projects and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them.
Sack him!
I am KT Data, one half of the show, and joining me is a man who not only tries to inspire the youth, but is always constantly trying to reinvent himself. Plus, he is, because I tell you guys, he's like the best at everything he does. But, not talking to him for a month just made me realize how awesome he is, the one and only Drew Tyler. How you doing, man?
I'm good. And as you can see, I've brought all of me, and
look at that. That is beautiful. For all you guys who are listening to the audio version, you need to check out the video version and just tell Drew how awesome his sick new do is.
Yeah, I got a sick new do. I like this. So I wore a hat all day. Didn't really get out and do much of anything. And then it was time for show. I just put a comb through it, and it all stood up nice and tall. So I've got kind of a faux hawk mohawk. It's pretty.
Yeah, I think you should rock it for day one of the fall semester.
Yes. And then I could be like, listen, guys, I know what I'm doing. You should listen to me because I am Drew.
Yeah.
And I do a podcast.
And you're like, I'm hip with you kids too.
It's funny, in my class, in my master's class, we did podcasts for one of their assignments. They had to do podcasts. I think we talked about this on one of the episodes. And I actually got an email after class is over that said, hey, I really enjoyed doing a podcast. And so I need all of your help me. What's the next step? How do I distribute? How do I make it out there? And so this guy has started his own podcast for world-class dads, I think, or something he's calling it, Dad of the Year. Anyway, I'm pretty excited because it's cool. We got another one. Yay.
We just get everybody hooked on because, I have what is it now? 6-7 people who just are always asking me, when are we recording our next Dice Masters podcast? On there, I've created monsters.
You have created monsters, and now your monsters are creating their own monsters.
It's awesome. All right, so if this is your first time watching the show, first of all, welcome to the show, and boy, are you on an awesome show.
It's gonna be good.
So before we actually go into our projects tonight, we have some news on there. So, Drew, it's fair to say last year, and actually probably in the most recent years, Kickstarter has been really well known for their high visibility video game Kickstarters, right?
Yes, they've had quite a few, like Shemu and a couple others that have just made waves.
Yeah, you got your Double Fine Adventures. You have why am I blanking on all of them right now?
Well, Shenmue was one, wasn't it?
Shenmue, and oddly enough, a couple days ago was their 1-year anniversary, and they're working, and he's thinking it's going to be an awesome game.
That's
on
good.
There because I paid a pretty penny for it. Live on stream too, of all things.
That's right.
On there. So, what's interesting is there's a company who all these different analytic firms and stuff come out of the woodwork when you start reading news articles. But this one is called ICO Partners. They released a summary of Kickstarter data for the first half of 2006 on there. And one of their findings,
2006
or 2016. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. My high school reunion's this Saturday, so
you should.
I'm living in the past now. So. On there, but they actually realized that physical tabletop games have raised 6 times more money than video games in the first half of 2016.
6 times more money?
Yeah, and 4 times more projects were funded too.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that they're tangible, right? So a board game requires to be a bigger fund, you gotta back it with more just because there's tangible items. Whereas software, it's like, give me $5, give me $10, I'm going to give you a game.
I think it's actually a combination of both.
But 6 times more is huge.
So there have been a lot more, I would say, video game fails. Like Mighty Number 9 just came out, and boy, are things going wrong.
People are not happy.
They're not. People weren't getting the right codes for the right systems, and everybody's like, the game looks like crap.
Yeah. In fact, I said somebody mentioned that it looked more like a cheap B-style knockoff than an actual predecessor. An actual part two. It actually people were like, no, this is like a horrible knockoff by somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it been poorly
because
received.
I know you liked the Mega Man games back
I
in the
loved
day.
them. I loved them, and so I was actually eager, and I kind of want to get my hands on this series, the new bits, to be like, okay, I'll be the judge for myself because I'm a Mega Man fan. But I'm hearing so
Well,
much negative stuff.
judging by how it's doing, Black Friday you'll be able to get it for like $10.
Yeah,
So just wait
yeah.
until then on there. So I think that's part of the problem is there have been a lot more negative connectivity to it. Plus, Fig, which we've mentioned on the site before,
Right.
has actually started getting more games funded over there. I think the Kevin Smith game was funded over there. Rock Band 4, even though they weren't successful,
Uh-huh.
they still went over there.
Uh-huh.
And let's see what else were. Let's see. Oh, Psychonauts 2 got 4 million, but that was on Fig.
Hmm.
On there, and you just don't have these like big ones. Where last year, like we mentioned it, Shenmue was there.
Right.
What was the other one? There's another big one that actually happened right there.
Amplitude was one, but that was a while ago.
Amplitude. I actually finally got my vinyl, so
Yeah, nice.
that's a Bard. The Bard's Tale 4 got 1.5 million. Shenmue got 6.3 million. Divinity Original Sin 2 got 2 million. Battle Chasers Night War got 85,000. BattleTech got 2.7 million, and Friday the 13th got 82 $100,000 on there. So last year we had a lot of those big ones, and I think part of it is that people have just been burnt by video game ones, that they're not backing these games anymore. Like your little run and gun indie ones seem to be still doing okay,
Hmm.
but these larger ones people aren't backing anymore because they feel burnt about it. That
And it takes so long for them to actually get around to that, to being done. And some companies are doing the, hey, back us, get the Kickstarter going so that we at least can walk into a studio and say, hey, we have X number of dollars and backers, help us finish this. And so really the backing is not the full project. It's like a quarter of the project that they still need to be assisted.
Yeah, and I think honestly,
Heard.
board gamers are actually a more dedicated fan base than video gamers.
I would have to agree.
It's kind of crazy, but the more time I spend in board game stores and stuff, because if you think about it, people are willing to spend. A good board game costs probably around $50 to $60 and
Yep.
up. And
Yeah,
people
plus the
are,
expansions
yeah.
and parts and pieces. Yep.
Yeah, and people are really vehement about it. And I think board gamers actually just the community seems to be a lot more trusting, and they I think they're I don't know yet, but they seem less toxic and they seem more cohesive as a community on that. So I
Well,
think
because you think about it, like in the video game world, you still have console like divisions.
Yeah.
Right, PC versus consoles versus console. Whereas tabletops, everybody's got a tabletop.
yeah.
You don't have the mahoganies versus the oaks. Right? My table's better than your table. We'll play over here.
Yeah. So I think that may be the reason. So if you're looking to make a project, you may want to consider some of these factors on there, or if you're trying to decide what to do. Ironically, though, one of the best-selling tabletop games is actually based on Dark Souls, which is a video game. On that, which is kind of hilarious. All right, so on to our second bit of news that we have tonight. I've seen a lot of these pop up over the years since we started. Before, it used to be only one or two companies, but more and more you start hearing people talking about marketing services specifically for crowdfunding. So like,
Yeah, and it almost becomes spammy. So when I've started some Kickstarters, within a day or two of launch, you'll always get messages in the back end that are like, "Would you like to get a guaranteed, X number of viewers or eyeballs?" And it's just like, who are you?
yeah. So I think it's starting to become more and more a problem because Kickstarter wrote a guide.
Actually, like figuring out if people are legit.
Well, on things you should ask when you're finding looking
nice.
marketing services, because not all you as a marketer who has marketing services that you offer to other people, you don't fit every mold, right?
Right.
They're just somebody's expecting, Drew, I need to post every 55 minutes on our Twitter account and stuff. I don't think you do that unless they write 6 zeros behind a 1 or something.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
On that. So they want you to actually, ask yourself some of these questions. Like the first one is, how did you find out about this service? And this is probably one of the best ways to figure out what you're doing, because there's a lot of those fly by night ones. Like, so I get all the emails that come through my day job's general email on there. And if I see it where it addresses, dear, and our the email is info, right? So if I get dear info,
Dear
I'm like,
info.
I'm not even reading the rest of this. So
You don't know me.
so if it seems super generic, like dear project creator, or if you named your account like your company LLC and it says that instead of your
Yep.
name, that might be a
Almost
little
a
sketch.
guarantee. It's almost guaranteed that they're using you there.
Yeah, and then so next thing is find out what they're offering, because not everybody offers the same feature set. So you may want something, but they might not even do it all. You're like, hey, I want you to make Facebook ads for me, but they do most of their marketing on Twitter. That may not be a good fit. And the other is, does this service meet your needs on that? So you want to think about your specific community, and where they communicate, how they communicate, and what's going to respond well to them. Because you don't want to start going to a forum full of like 3D makers who like know the nuts and bolts and just say, well, you have your extruder here, and start with the basics. You want to be on the same level, right?
True. It's true.
On there, and this is an important one, is what is their track record? How good are they at their job?
Do they have some other projects that they've been able to get back to? Trying to remember, who did we have on the show almost a year ago? Funded Today.
Yeah, Funded Today. Those guys had a couple projects actually.
They did well, and
Yeah.
they've got a track record, and they were legitimately like they knew how to make things move, and so that's the due diligence. Figure that out before you grab somebody.
Yeah, and this is great. So if you actually do get a spam account, you can report them on Kickstarter. They want you to report them so they can get rid of them, because they don't allow spam. And another thing, if they say they're affiliated with Kickstarter, they're lying to you. Kickstarter has publicly said they don't endorse or have any affiliations with any marketing services. It's a little more teeter-totter with Indiegogo, but they only have a handful of companies, so it's not one of those. Don't do them. So, like, I don't know, Drew, do you recommend getting a marketing service for your project?
If you have a certain level, yes. So I think that there's
outside of just hiring you straight up,
right. No, I really
because you can't go wrong if they hire you straight up.
I could do this all myself. No, it comes down to time, right? So if your project is big enough that you are looking to raise over $15,000-$20,000 and you need traction and traffic, that we talk about this all the time. You should have that ready to go before you hit launch. Like, you should find your people and get them all ready to act. But if you need help with that prior to or early on, I think the larger campaigns, it's worth it to bring some on. And some of those spammy ones I've seen are actually, they'll say, we'll do this for this percentage or whatever. Like, we saw your project and we'll do it for 3% of your final whatever. So you have to take that into account of everything else. But if you do your due diligence and they've got a good track record, then I think there is merit to having somebody who knows the marketing part of the internet. It's not easy. It's not everybody knows it. A lot of people will get lost real quick. And so I'd make sure you do your due diligence, find out what else they've done, that they can deliver, proof that they can deliver what they say they can deliver. For instance, if they come and tell you that they can get you, 20,000 followers on Twitter, go check their Twitter account and see how many if they have, right? If they only have 50, they probably don't know what they're doing on Twitter. It happens, sadly. It happens.
And if their name is Drew Tyler, you should hire him. But you need to keep in mind that he's busy Tuesday nights.
I have something going on.
There. All right. So before we jump to our projects, usually we have our kick shouts. I don't have anything to mention this today on there, but if you're running a project or you want us to just give a project a shout out, send us a Twitter length message. So tweet it to us about the project and I'll read it verbatim on there, as long as you don't put profanities on there. But
he'll read that too, and he'll giggle. He'll giggle.
Yeah. So, but for tonight, I guess our kick shout is the Fostro boy, as D-Max has dubbed you.
Take it. I'll take it.
All right. So our first project of the night. So Drew, it has gotten really hot. It is definitely summer now in Utah.
Yes, it is.
On there, I'm actually baking in my studio right now, so this may have influenced what I picked. But so, how many times have you gone? You're like, man, I really want a nice ice cold drink, right? You go to your fridge, it's empty, but then you go to your storage closet or your pantry and like, oh, I just bought a 6-pack. Cool. Then you grab it, the can is warm.
It's warm. I do it all the time with bottles of water. We get bottles of water out of our understairs pantry, and they're just warm, mediocre to lukewarm.
So the Hypercool is here to solve that project. So the Hypercool is actually a device that is a portable cooler that will chill your drinks within 60 seconds.
Seems like witchcraft right there.
And if you want it super cool, it'll cool. If you leave it in for 90 seconds, it'll cool it to ice cold on that. So the way this works is the Hypercool actually has this tray where you pour water into it and then freeze it overnight for at least 10 hours on there. Then you insert it into the tray and then it starts spinning your can. So it'll fit 2 regular size cans or one of those tall boys in there, and it will spin your can for 60 seconds. And within 60 seconds, it will make your drink cold. If you leave it in for 90, it gets about ice cold.
What is on the other side of that?
It's a little spinning thing. The top is a motor.
Oh, so it's just spinning the can, but
it just spins the can, and what it's doing is it's spinning it along the ice that you actually put in this tray right here. Let's see if I can get a picture of that. So there's ice.
So you load it up with ice first.
So you freeze the thing. You put water into the tray, and you freeze the tray on there. And so while it's spinning, it's slowly melting that ice and causing water. And what it's doing, the reason why it's spinning is to increase the surface area that it's cooling. So it cools the full can, and the faster you kind of move that around, it wicks away the water.
Okay, so if I have a carbonated drink and it just sits there and spins, am I like ready? Is it gonna blow up?
No. So
shaking it.
They've timed the spinning, so it's not going too fast, whereas you're losing carbonation or agitating it. So it's just spinning at the right speed to cool it down. This actually works, and people are like, "How do you know it works?" It's because people actually do it a lot with wine bottles. You stick it into a bucket of ice and you turn it for about 15 minutes or so, and it will cool down your wine
faster than just leaving it.
Yeah, so it kind of works the same way on there, and you notice that it's only using cans on there, which is great. And you can do about 18 cans on
a block of ice.
Yeah, on your block of ice, or until the block of ice melts. That's all. I love this idea because I'm not gonna drink more than 2 cans at once.
Well, no one should. But that is an interesting idea. I just don't understand. Like, I guess I've taken water bottles and other things and throwing them into my ice chest, you know.
And so I'll give you a tip if you want it to actually run a little faster. But I have no idea if this is going to actually corrode the machine or not. You put some salt in there, and what happens is it lowers the freezing temperature of the ice, so it can actually absorb more heat into it, and it will actually cool it faster. The problem with that is you're putting salt into your ice, so the ice is going to melt. So you may not get 18 cans on that. And I have no idea if the salt water is going to corrode the spinner thingy dooley on top. You may want to clean that.
It's a risk that I'm willing to take.
But I'm like, okay, I can wait a minute and a half, because usually the way I do it is I just throw it into the freezer and wait 15 minutes. But I can't do that on the go.
That's right.
Yeah.
But 60 seconds, 90 seconds, I bet you could do that. And
this has an advantage of using just a cooler, because then you don't have to have a cooler full of ice everywhere.
That's true, because I'm thinking, like, if I can't remember to keep my drinks in the freezer, how am I going to remember to keep this thing in the freezer?
It's so you just got to do it the night before you go.
Yeah, that's the thing. I might as well just put the can in there.
But it's gonna explode if you leave the can in the freezer.
Oh, right.
and you've probably done this before. You've driven like 4 or 5 hours. If you do that, it's gonna be warm by the time you get there. This is instant.
This is instant. I like where they're going with this. This is
on there, and it comes with a little handy carrying case and everything, where you can take it.
You're hanging out at the
park or the barbecue.
That's good.
Man, that kid is dangerously. That's not how you roast a marshmallow. Like, the kid's like sticking the marshmallow into the fire.
No,
that's not how you do it. You're just gonna have a burnt marshmallow,
flaming ball of fire.
But I do like this, and I do know it works. See, you can see on this one where he's spinning, there's water. If you just stick your finger on there, there's water that's gathering on the side of it, and that water is actually helping cool the can. So it doesn't work with plastic bottles. It only works with cans, but that's the most effective thing, because the can conducts the heat out.
Right. Nice.
On there. So I don't know. Is this a backtrack or sack?
I'd back this bad boy. What are they looking for? How much money are they looking for?
If you do the early bird, it's $89.
That's a lot of cans, man.
It's $100 elsewise if you miss the early bird. I don't think it's bad. You're really just buying the motor,
right? That's I can get a block of ice and
but then you have to lug the block of ice everywhere.
Yeah. All right. It's a track. And then a track.
You gotta.
I was thinking this thing was like $30, 35.
I like how the compact this is. For me, it's back, because I've done it so many times. We're like, but if I only have to wait a minute and a half, I'll wait a minute and a half instead of like 15 minutes or something on that. All right. So that was the hyper cooler. If I can find the right lower third
Hyper cool. Bring it on.
on there. All right. So for our next project, this Legos
You know me.
Legos are near and dear to your heart.
Yep.
On here, and like the funny thing is when I did the show notes, I automatically put this into the
You knew what I was doing.
into your slot because I'm like he's gonna do it. There's no
You
way
knew
he's
what I was
not gonna
doing.
do it. So tell everybody what our next project is.
There is no surprise that I love the Legos. I took my girls down to brick slopes the other day down in Orem, and
Yeah,
it was
everybody like what?
it's pretty cool. Like I should have took my brick book down there, but brick slopes was just a lot of Legoing fun. A neighbor, this actually was like the win-win. So it was an inexpensive evening of fun, just kind of looking at Legos, playing with their giant pit of Legos. And a neighbor texted me and was like, "Hey, I've got buckets of Legos because I posted this on Instagram. I didn't know you liked Legos and your girls like Legos. We'll come down and drop off big buckets of Legos for your girls." And I was like, yes. In fact, she wrote Peach and me at the same, together.
Yeah.
And so I asked, I glanced over to Stace and she was like, "We don't need any more Legos." So I quickly replied back. I was like, "Hell yeah, send them down." Before Stacy could be like, "No." So
I need some Legos.
I got tons. Got tons. So I will introduce you to our next project. If you remember my beautiful brick bookcase.
Which
Look at that beauty.
which is the coolest thing ever, but it's like an anti-productivity thing for you.
But it won me a contest. I won a contest with brick books.
What?
Their May contest, I think. So they're sending me 500 free.
Oh, I'm jelly.
Colors.
I'm
Yep.
jelly.
And I've got tons of
I'm jelly.
I
I'm
my
jelly.
kids stuff. So here's the cool project that they're doing now. They have created, because the brick book has done well, they've now created brick tile, which is compatible wall tiles that are compatible with Legos. So yeah, you can buy these like anywhere at the stores, and they're actually pretty expensive. These flat ones, they're a hot commodity. But what's neat about these is that they've been able to manufacture these kind of flat ones, and
I love
they
the
have
stuffed animal that's up here. too.
removable adhesive on the back. So anything that's smooth, you can stick it up. You just peel that thing off, stick it up on the wall, and it can be
And it's reusable too, which is great.
yeah. You pull it back off and move it down the hall a couple times. Really a very cool idea, and I love that they get a lot of cool uses out of it. Not just like flat art, which all their art looks really, really good, but they also like do it to hold pens and pencils and pictures.
They have
and
these custom
devices.
clips and stuff they're putting together.
Yes, I find those very cool.
And I love how they're redesigning these. I wish that I had these because that was my only gripe with the bricks that come with the brick book.
They're tight.
They're kind of a pain to remove off the thing. So now they're adding a little groove at the bottom
For easier removal, because and it makes a lot of sense, and that's something that again I built mine out, and I don't dare change it right now because it takes so much to pop them off and move them around. So I really do like what they're doing with the brick tile. They are they know their stuff. They know their stuff, and so they've got all the packs. You can get 2 blues or 2 whites, which is I think these bricks are, what do they measure? 8x8.
Yes, you already ordered
Remember
them.
that? No, 10x10.
10x10, yeah. So
10x10. But you put 2 of those side by side, and like this is something I would put right outside my office. And I'm sure
go away, students.
Yeah, I'm sure the kids would like put ridiculous things on there. I'd come back to like all sorts of dirty things. I know my kids would just my students. Yeah, but I would do it because it would be hilarious. Or maybe I will get the school. Don't tell anybody. I get the school to buy a couple of these beginner packs, and then I could like label each of the studio rooms like this room, that room.
Dude, that'd be
With Lego
epic.
designs. That'd be a great way to say
That
like
would be
this is the
epic.
cat cave. This is that.
And then you can move like the bricks. Have a red and like a red and a green one. And
Like
just move,
on air, not on air.
Yeah, like using don't disturb and stuff.
Like where we're going with this. Okay, so the brick tile is pretty dang cool, and I don't know.
They've already doubled their goal, and like I trust these guys. They totally are doing. The only problem that we had was I didn't see their email where I was supposed to email them like 3 months before on why ours didn't ship yet on there. But that was partially my bad for not reading the updates.
But we got it. It's good. I
Yeah.
love mine. I absolutely love mine. And everywhere I go, somebody will stop me every time I have it open. Like when I was at Mashable, when I was just working at coffee shops, like everybody stops me.
That's what I need to do is actually make a cool design and go sit in a coffee shop. That is how I'm gonna meet my dream girl, right?
It is. And what you need to
just-
do, your design on the front has to be something to do with your podcast, whether it's
Yeah.
Dice Masters show or
Yeah.
this show or Noms. And then they're gonna say, not only is that cool, they'll say, "What is that?" And you pitch them.
Yeah,
Well, I'm kind of a big deal. But I think for me, this is a total back, and I'm trying to figure out. I think I might get like a 6-pack.
Yeah,
One,
like,
two. I only need 2. Like 2 would be plenty for each room, and I could do one for the podcast studio, the
how about
studio.
should we do the 150 pack and then we can just split it up? Or
send
the 20, the 20
that's
pack?
great. Couple to you, couple to me. I could justify this, right?
Or wait, how about the 500 one, the 80 pack? 40 to me, 40 to you.
That would be a huge. I'd put that in the break room, and then I would just leave a bucket of bricks there. Oh, that's a great 10,000 little bricks. My students would waste so much time doing that no homework would get done. I'll put it in the study room. Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, that's great. I love it. That's a back for me too. And for you guys wondering, they're not infringing on Lego rights because the Lego patent actually has expired. Yes, Legos have been out for that long. They can't call them Lego, but if you read them, they say they're Lego compatible or brick compatible.
Brick, yep, building brick compatible, yep.
So that's a double back for the brick tile. All right.
Love it.
Our last project of the night, I didn't pick it, but apparently everybody else is thinking about the heat and stuff too. So, Drew, I know you're a big video gamer. Do you have this problem? You know, you and your wife are entrenched in the game of The Witcher.
Which we've been playing a lot of lately.
Yeah.
Blood and Wine. Oh, so good.
So we have intense battles going on, you know, and all of a sudden the controller just slips out of your hands because your hands are just so sweaty since you're just so into the moment, right?
Sorry, no. No, I have a pretty good grip. She has sweaty hands. Maybe she would lose it, but she doesn't play that much.
But
so what is this thing?
Yeah. So what it is, our last item is called the Cool NATO on that.
Cool NATO.
And it is actually a device to cool your hands down or to dry your hands and cool them within 5 seconds.
This is just a fan.
Yeah, it's a fan.
This is a fan.
But it has LEDs in it and it's directional.
Oh, it's a light up fan. And which direction?
Up. So you know how you have the hand cooler at the bowling alley where you can This is a USB powered version of it.
This is
brilliant. I love it. So it runs on a USB plug. So if you have a wall adapter, you plug it into your computer. And if you're playing on your computer, sure, why not?
But for PC gamers, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff they would do.
So you put it right. So his problem is his hands, you know, intense CS:GO matches and stuff. Right. You know, in between rounds, his hands are all sweaty. So you just take them off. You put it over there. It dries your hands within 5 seconds.
That's wild.
Like I love it, and it has a cool color on it. You know, nothing too fancy, but I love it. It has a switch to turn it on and off. I think it works.
It sounds really. I mean, really, how difficult would this be?
Yeah, and he's looking to deliver by the end of the year, so it's gonna make a good Christmas gift.
He's been 3D printing a few of these. You just so you could be mousing around with your one hand, mousing around, and then you just slide over.
Yeah, you know, loading screen comes up. You just stick your hand over the thing, and you're like, "I'm cool. I'm ready to go. I can grip." And like a lot of people apparently have been saying that it is it's kind of relaxing too, you know, soothing and relaxing.
Right, with the lights.
Yeah, on there. So I mean, this is a simple idea, but I think it's genius.
Right. Well, and it is. Did it just launch today, or has it been up for?
I think it might have launched today, August 4th. So it actually launched yesterday.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that they do something. $25 sounds about right. 50 for 2. Wow. So I'm hoping they do well, because it doesn't look like it has a lot of traction yet. At least for their $20,000 goal. Like they're like a 40th.
Yeah. So it's gonna come with a white light, and then you can make it red, blue, or green. And hopefully he'll get some more colors before they ship on there. I think it's a great simple idea, not too complicated, so you don't have to install it. Like, do you know you can install firmware on your mouse pad?
That's too much for me.
Yeah, like it's gotten that crazy where I'm like, this is okay. This is fine. I don't firmware. It just needs power. And we're good to go. Like I think you'd be, you bring that to a LAN party and stuff, you get some like huge geek cred on there. So like for me, I think this is actually a track. I like it. I don't do a lot of gaming, sadly enough.
And I don't sweat a lot for sure, but I do love the idea. I'm with you though. It's genius. It's like, wow, bowling alleys, they were onto something years ago.
Yeah. So let's just use it here.
This is brilliant. I think it's great. I just found out that there's actually a gaming center, like LAN center down in North Salt Lake. I had no idea.
Yeah, they just opened and they've been doing league tournaments and stuff.
Yeah,
recently,
I got to get down there. I need to do some live podcasting from there.
Dude, and I had to. If my bank account had more money in it, I would have bought a gaming computer today, but I didn't.
Luckily, you were saved by.
Luckily, I was broke.
Yeah, that's hilarious. No, this is great. I love this. I'll go with the track as well. Cool NATO track for me.
All right, so that is kind of the last of our regular projects on there. Now it is time for our sack of the week, and this is great. The project is called Tokyo, Japan.
We're doing Tokyo, Japan.
On there, it is by the creator. What did he call himself? Sir Isaac.
Isaac Wells Fargo.
Yeah, Tokyo Ninja Pimp White Chocolate Chicago. Not a product of my environment. On there, so
is he trolling us? Like, is he just trying to like in all the words that he thinks people can look?
Yeah, because I don't know what he's gonna do. But his goal is to do some community service in Japan, more specifically Tokyo, before the end of the year, all before everybody rushes to Japan for the 2020 Olympics.
Well, you got some time. I mean, really, you got 4 years.
Yeah, but so you want to break down the community service he wants to do is he wants to use all available funds to record multiple mixtapes and then travel over to Tokyo, Japan, to perform the recording live in unscheduled concerts for impoverished areas of Tokyo.
The amount is high due to how expensive the cost of living in Tokyo, Japan. I plan to stay there no more than a month to accomplish my goal. So he is going to make mixtapes and then travel to Tokyo to play for poor people.
Yeah, and perform them live on there. In addition, once the funds are available, it will be easy to accomplish my goal. I will buy round-trip plan tickets to Tokyo.
Plan tickets.
From Tokyo to Japan. Tokyo is the capital of Japan.
He says round trip from Tokyo to Japan, and then I'm going to go back again.
And then he's going to schedule studio recording times for mixtapes in which I will perform food and other basic living supplies. And then once he's done with the Tokyo project, he's going to look for an event planner to assist him in doing underground performances for all of his supporters at no cost to his supporters. And I think
Isaac, you're killing me, man.
And he thinks it's about time that he goes over the top only for a short period to do a service, then go back underground. I don't understand this term, so if anybody wants to translate this one for me, I only want taxable revenue, no yellow. I choose a different route.
Like Virginia too much.
Yeah, I don't get I want taxable revenue, no yellow.
I go over the top for a short period, then go back underground.
Yeah. Wow. Can somebody explain that one to me?
Yeah, I don't know that one. This is weird.
And then he has a post says, I am not a rapper, I'm a musician, for goodness sake. I attempted to write Beyonce and Taylor Swift's EPs. What?
He attempted it. Thank you, Sir Isaac.
I love the risks and challenges. Not getting paid is the only risk and challenges, and of course, haters.
Oh yes, of course, and haters.
And he's and just for you ladies, I'm also willing to provide a additional service to the ladies. Pimp.
Sir Isaac. And the FAQ is actually pretty good too. Does Sir Isaac plan to use these funds to shoot people? No, he really wants to do this project in its entirety. With that said, being an American, we all must protect ourselves. Is he single? Yes. He's single with no kids. Bit hard of hearing, so he adopted a speaking sign to deliver his messages.
I think I can tell why he's single.
Is he a millionaire? No. End of story. I gotta say, sometimes I feel bad about the sacks of the weeks. I feel like
this guy has to be trolling Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, maybe that's it. I feel like some people are like they're not quite sure what they're doing here, and so I feel bad being like, well, you're missing this. But you can pledge. You can get a private concert for $1 or more.
Oh, I just realized he has a SoundCloud. So
have you listened to it? Pull some of that up.
Let's listen to this. Yeah. Salute to Mr. Derrick Rose on becoming a New York Knick.
I'm a boss. D-Rose. I'm a boss. D-Rose.
Oh my gosh.
D-Rose.
I already got the words memorized.
D-Rose. Okay.
Was there more? Go to the middle of that. Is there more?
All right, we're not playing that on our.
Take that to the impoverished
impoverished
Tokyos.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Japanese people will understand that.
I'm glad we're not live.
I may need to remind myself to go edit that.
Okay, this is really hilarious. This guy is
Yeah, and Laser Norm is asking the question that can someone explain to me how mixtapes are a community service?
yeah, he's doing the mixtapes. He's doing the mixtapes. And
This has to be a troll, right?
He's gonna do shows. Yeah, either that or he's just really, really special, and we shouldn't be making fun of him. Because this is really also a service to the ladies. Pimp. Wow, that is a sack.
Yeah, that is definitely a sack. If you guys don't know, I am not a fan of pay for my trip to wherever crowdfunding projects.
Wow.
And this is definitely one of them. And sadly, guys, this is the end of this episode of the KickCast. If you have suggestions for Sacks of the Weeks or, pretty much any projects, kick shouts or anything, or if you just want to say hi, or if you want the secret on how to make Drew's awesome do, shoot us an email at kickcast@ktdata.net. or leave us a comment on Facebook, facebook.com/kickcast. And I don't know. If you want to know if Drew's going to keep this hairstyle or not, you should follow him on Twitter. At Night20 for him, at KTData for myself, or at KickCast for the show. And if you really want to go help Sir Isaac, Wells Fargo?
Yeah, formerly known as Wells Fargo.
Yeah,
he's coming back.
Head on over and check out our show notes at kickcast.net.
You get a private show for $1. Who wouldn't?
$1 at no expense to you after that $1. Once he gets back from Tokyo, yo.
Pimp. Wow. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Our next episode is going to be what is today? The 5th. It's going to be July 19th, a day after my birthday, where I used to be
25.
No, I'm older than that. But you guys will have to come and find out how old I actually am. I'll tell you on the next episode if I remember.
The cliffhanger.
There. So until then, my friends, see you later.
Good night.